I tell you something for nothing, yeah. If Amorim gets this Man United team to where Teta has got Arsenal to right now, from the situation he's in now, Man United fans won't be talking like this about him. They won't be saying you need to get out of our club. They're gonna be hoping that he stays before they end up with another Ollie.
I was gonna say, did United win 2 games back to back last season?
Hello, everybody. This is Over the Line, the football debate podcast by fans for fans. My name is Dave O, and as you can see, joining me on tonight's show, the boys are back in town. Gav, Kunle, John, Cyril, lads, welcome.
Welcome. What's going on?
Yeah, yes.
Cyril, it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you, man. How you doing?
Me, I'm good, man.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to the start of the season.
Good. Well, it's funny you say that because today's episode, we're going to be talking about Premier League fixtures that were released a couple of weeks ago, okay? We're not here to debate, the merits, who's been, is there a conspiracy about, who's getting harder fixtures, this, that, and the other. We're not gonna be doing much of that tonight. What we are gonna do, Cyril, I'm gonna start with you, okay, is I want to talk about the fixtures as you've said, okay. The Premier League fixtures, they're out now, as you can see, 25-26 season. Cyril, as a Man United fan, talk to me about how you feel about your club's fixtures in the early portion of the season.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about this, and I'm like, it could go either way. It literally could go either way.
Yeah.
I think the first game with the Arsenal, I'm actually quite excited about that because, one, they come there, they lose. They're gonna be like, oh, nah, it's only the first game.
Mm.
You know,
who lose? Arsenal, United.
Arsenal lose.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at, you know what it is? I'm thinking just personally in terms of, I posted this the other day, I think it's going to be the most exciting Premier League season that we've actually had. Like every club is trying to get those strikers or those midfielders, those missing pieces that they actually need. So I really do feel like this next season is going to be a lot different to last season. But I think more importantly, getting Arsenal out of the way, getting City out of the way, getting Chelsea out of the way in the first 5 games, it can't, it is what it is. Like, so most people think we're going to lose anyway. So anything that we actually come out of that's positive, it's a big, W for us. Even if it's draws or whatever, as long as we come out there unscathed. But if we're coming out there 4 losses out of 5, then it's going to be peak already. And obviously, like you just mentioned just now, potentially, there's going to be talk of, getting them out. But I think based on who we've actually buying and who we actually purchasing and stuff like that, I definitely feel that going into those games, they're tough, but I definitely feel like they're games which can actually win. And you got to remember, like last season, those are like some of those games, we could have won. So we won some, so yeah. So for me personally, I'm not as phased. I think get them out of the way. Then we can focus on the rest of the season. But I think
would you rather have a tougher start or an easier start to the season?
Tough start. Get it done out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's get it done, right? Because
give me a number from 1 to 10. How happy are you with your fixtures in the early part?
I'd say 6, 7, 6, 7.
What in your first 5 games? How many wins do you think you can come away with?
How long's a piece of string? The thing is, we could again. You know what? I probably feel more confident if I knew who we actually have in the team going into the season.
Okay, fair enough. Gav, I'm going to come to you next. Talk to me about Arsenal's fixtures. How you feel about the way that it's been sort of laid out for our start to the season. How confident you feeling?
I'm confident, man. I feel like we're being gaslit. We're being baited into having outrage, and we've got such a tough start. And I listen to a lot of football media, probably too much, back in the car and whatever. But like you'll hear these talk sports and they're saying, "Oh, it's going to be tough. They're going to lose this. They're going to be out of it by week 6." I'm thinking, out of the teams we've got, I don't really fear any of them other than Newcastle. Forest at home, we should be beating them. But like, if we're looking at recent history, then we've got United first. I can't see us them. Leeds, we should be beating Leeds. Anfield, it's been a while since we lost there. Forest at home, like I said, we should be beating them. City ain't beat us in a while. Newcastle with a banana skin for me, and that's 27th of September. And if people will probably want to debate it, like, why are you speaking about Arsenal like this, and you should be down in the dumps, and I should be scared and quaking in my boots because we haven't signed anyone. Like, we'll talk about transfers another time, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, these teams that everyone's saying we should be scared of playing so early in the season, we've got the best record against the top six. Out of the top six, we're the team to beat. The teams that we're meant to be fearing, they don't scare me anymore. Put it that way, they don't scare me anymore. I think we'll be all right.
All right, Kunle, do you want to add anything to what Gavin said as a fellow Gooner?
Yeah, I 100% disagree with everything he just said. Nah, joking. I actually agree. Everyone seems to forget our top six record is actually very good. It's not. We haven't actually lost to like one of the big ones in quite a while, and I'm happy to have a tough start because one, it means Arsenal have to get themselves in order, get your ducks in a row quickly. Because I think sometimes we start so slow, we're too like feeling into the season, and we saw what happened while we were feeling into the season. Liverpool grabbed the tin and ran, and by the time we were ready, they were over the hill, chilling, sipping some tea in their house. So I'm happy that we have a tough start because it means there's no time to rest on your laurels, no time to be rest easy. It's go time from the moment, and it's good to have Man United. Although our record at Old Trafford for some reason is not good. Recently we've done well. We've won a couple and we've drawn. But I want to start with a win. I wouldn't even say it's a statement win because it ain't exactly who they used to be. But United is United, still a scalp, and plus it was, I think whoever loses that game is gonna it could send certain part of their fan base into meltdown from day one. And I don't want it to be us. We do that enough times. We give social media too much ammunition. So I want it to be, let it be United. Let it be like Saeed in the car park trying to fight the owners. Let it be KG making up his songs, or nah. Let it be them lot having a meltdown. I want Arsenal to start fast and mean business, because this is the time. Like we've done the years, we've done the building, as has been stated so many times. It's time to win. It's time to go. It's time to get this team, because I feel this team is too good not to win something. And the more years it passes, the more other teams start to catch up, and then before you know it, you're fighting, instead of just two teams, you're fighting five teams. So yeah, we need to. I'm happy with the start. Get the big teams out the way. Going Anfield early. I'd rather go. I remember I said last episode, facing West Ham in September, it's not the same as facing West Ham in April, as we found to our detriment many a time. So yeah, get them out the way. Go Newcastle early in the season as well. As we know, notoriously we ain't good up there. So I'm happy with it. The fixtures are the fixtures, man. Too many people making mountains out of molehills. Everyone has to play whoever. If you want to win the Prem, just win. Doesn't matter who's in front of you. Just do your job.
Do your job. Quickly to you, Gav. Kunle's just said there he prefers, or he's alluded to the fact he prefers to get the tougher fixtures out the way nice and earlier. Are you on that same boat, or do you prefer to maybe build a bit of momentum?
Yeah, I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020, but that's what I was on last season. So we had a much harder start to Liverpool when they were flying. I was thinking, all right, this is good because we've had our tougher games. Obviously, John's smiling because it didn't work out quite how I thought, but I can't change my way of thinking this season because it didn't work out last season. I still have the same theory. We just need better players, which I feel like we're getting, and we need a better injury record, which I feel like we will have this upcoming season as well. So yeah, I'm glad we're getting Kune made a great point. Anfield out the way early. Like, imagine we get into September and we don't have to worry about going to Anfield for the rest of the season, unless it's a cup game. That's
fair enough.
That's right.
Fair enough. John, let's bring you in, mate. So, Liverpool champions, fixtures are out. Talk to us. How do you feel about the way your fixtures have landed in the early part of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I've just had a look at the first 10 games here. I think we've actually got quite a tough run in. But I think like all the guys I mentioned, I think due to the fact that they're kind of early games, it's that kind of like, it's that weird part of the season where all the clubs, they don't really know what everyone's on as of yet. So I think with our kind of tough start, I think that kind of works maybe in a little in our favour, hopefully, because we get some tough games out of the way. I think you've already mentioned Arsenal. We've got you guys at home on the 30th of August. Then we've got tough. Well, we've got Newcastle away, the second game of the season, and I think getting out of the way and picking up potentially 3 points at St James Park would be amazing. Then we've got one of the promoted teams, Burnley, then Everton. We all know, that game's never too easy. That those games always end up being like really low scoring, like 1-0, 2-1s, or draws or whatever. But yeah, overall, we've got Chelsea and United as well in those first 10 games as well. So again, depending on how everyone's kind of set up for the season and how strong they're going to be early doors will determine a lot for us, I think, in this coming season anyway. So yeah, I think not the easiest one in, but if you can get through it, pick up as much points as you can, who knows? As last season proved. Because apparently we didn't play anybody until I think February this year. Everyone said we hadn't played anyone for the first few games. So that's kind of a rhetoric that I used to hear quite a lot. Arsenal are going to catch us, City were going to catch us at one point. So yeah, let's see how that fares this season.
So I just want to say real quick that I think I'm on board with Kunle here in that, yes, the start of the fixtures or of the season for Arsenal can be seen as difficult, but I think while teams aren't quite in a rhythm just yet, it's good to get these tough games out of the way. Going to Anfield and getting that out of the way nice and early, playing United at Old Trafford, getting that out of the way nice and early. I think we've also got Newcastle early, get that out of the way. I also believe we've got Man City relatively early as well. Get these games out the way, come out as unscathed as possible, and then the rest of your season is looking quite rosy. So I want to move on to the next topic now, okay? And this is where we're going to be discussing, the relative difficulty of the fixtures from one team compared to another. So I've got a stat that I'm going to throw up on the screen here, okay? So according to the FDR, which is known as the fixture difficulty rating tool, Man United and Arsenal are actually amongst the teams who have the hardest set of opening fixtures, whilst teams like Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Tottenham are actually amongst the teams who have the easier opening fixtures. Now, if I was a conspiracy theorist, and there are some people out there that are, it's easy to sit there and say the powers that be have it in for United and Arsenal because, in my opinion, rightly or wrongly, we're the two teams that generate the most clicks. So by having these teams having the tougher start, you kind of set yourself up for a narrative where it can be, oh, is Arteta going to win a trophy this season? Oh my God, is Amorim,
Out.
the fixtures that they've got and the results that they've got, is Amorim going to survive, up until Christmas? Is he going to be the first manager out? So I feel there's a little bit of shenanigans going on there in that it's been set up in a way where you're going to have drama right from the off. I mean, United are playing Arsenal immediately first game of the season. Depending on that result, we all know what the headlines are going to be the following day. So, Gav, I'm going to come to you on this, okay? Based on the fact that you can see where I've shown, or it's been stated, based on the FDR, that Arsenal and Man United have the tougher start compared to somebody like Liverpool. Gav, is it fair to say that Amorim could be sacked before Christmas? What's your thoughts on that?
You're asking Gavin. You're cheeky.
Amarin be sacked before Christmas. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, yeah. It's gonna sound like I'm taking a dig, but the reality is for Amarin, if we're basing it on his history in the Premier League, anyone that he plays other than the leagues, is it Burnley that come up as well? Who are the teams that got promoted?
Burnley,
Burnley, Leeds, and
Sunderland.
Sunderland.
Sunderland. Other than them three, I think it's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough game for Amarin. He's going to struggle. I don't see him doing very well in this league at all. Do I think he gets sacked by Christmas? Yeah, I do. I think it's possible. I don't know if the owners will do it though. That's what's going to be interesting. It's going to be quite dramatic at Old Trafford again for another season, I think. Because they're talking about these players that they're biting. Like I get they bought Cunha, but that's it really. Like Mbeumo looks like he's going to come in, which will be great, but I don't see that as a position that they had issues with. Great player. Is he a Man United player? I'm still not convinced. Like the Man United I grew up watching, I don't think he's the great Chester United as they speak about. I don't think he's that level of player. And I'm sure don't Ahmad play on the right? Am I wrong? Like he'll be taking Ahmad's position. So are they really fixing the problems that they say they need to fix? And then I look at their list of players that they need to get off their books. Looks like no one really wants Sancho. Rashford, Villa's decided not to buy him. Garnacho's out here doing what Garnacho does on the internet, so he's not making himself a great. Like, how are they gonna find a space in their squad to replace these players and get better quality in, and then they got to attract the better quality, etc. And we're going into July, so I personally think he's gonna have a massive job in his hands, and with a tough start, as people were saying they have, it could be real bad for him come October. And yeah, Christmas will be around the corner. If they're anywhere near as bad as they were last season, they'll be starting to look into to shift him on because it's coming out of the Premier League, especially for a club the size of Man United, is unthinkable. So they have to get Allardyce in or something, probably. Why are you laughing?
It's funny because I seen where this was going.
I blame David.
Yeah, David just did exactly what the Premier League did. It just did what the Premier League did with the first game of the season being United, Arsenal. But I think it's logical to say what some of these guys have said, or what Gavin said just now about, okay, cool. I can see from the outside why somebody would say, United ain't gonna really do bits or whatever. But I think with Amarim picking these players and coming in with the mindset and the mentality of what he's looking for, I definitely think it's going to be a lot better than what people actually think it is. And I think he's way smarter than most people think, in the sense of, I feel like he did some things on purpose to be able to put us in a worse position, to be able to force some sort of changes, to allow these things to actually happen. I think he knows and he knew what was happening in the background. I remember after the first few games, he was like, hey, listen, there's going to be suffering. Suffering's going to come to you. So I think I think throughout his time there, he's probably purposely done certain things just to be able to sort of force change. And this is no different. If we're looking at, the record, which is what you guys always refer to, your record, his record is that when he went to Sporting, the similar situation, they had to move some players on, bring some new players in, and those players, ended up doing what they were doing. So again, it's really difficult to sort of say, stuff like Mbeumo not being a United player. Okay, but when we then look at it, we can then turn it around and say, what is Nordgaard or whatever his name, an Arsenal player? Is Eze really Arsenal player? Like, he's good, but is he really Arsenal level if you really want to do that? So you can actually kind of like go through those kind of things there. But for sure, I think what you lot are thinking, I think United's going to surprise a lot of people, and the clickbaits are going to be there, but I think United's going to surprise a lot of people. I think
Cyril, let me ask you this then, hand on heart, right? Guys, you're all free to jump in on this as well, right? Cyril, hand on heart, have you legitimately seen anything from Amorim to give you confidence that you're going to have a better season?
Great
Because
question.
from what I have seen, and I think Bruno Fernandes, your captain, actually said this in an interview, the quality of the league surprised Amorim. Yeah, he wasn't expecting teams at the bottom to be as combative as they were, because he's used to a league where the bottom teams just kind of roll over and take their beating, and if you score 4 or under, they say thank you and move on. Whereas over here,
No, that's with three of
Bruno
the worst.
Fernandes has said that the quality of the league surprised Amorim. So have you actually seen anything from your manager to give you the confidence, regardless of who you sign, the confidence that you're actually going to do better than finishing 15th and struggling to get 42 points or 41
I
points?
think finishing 15th is like, let's all be real. I don't think we're gonna finish 15th or like
Nor
outside
do
of
I.
the top 8. So I think let's just be on. Let's like for Banner, we can say, oh yeah, is he gonna be able to finish above 15th? Of course he is. Now, what
Finishing
my
mid-
confidence, my
as well.
confidence comes from what I know he's been able to do at Sporting. Now, obviously, it's a completely different league. I think he's the kind of person, as I said, I think there was more of a. I genuinely do think, I'm like, certain decisions that he made, I'm like, this guy is doing something on purpose to be able to force change. So that's my thought process. Now, I'll be the first person, when I genuinely see something and I'm thinking, nah, this guy, I don't understand what he's doing, why he's making this situation, all of that stuff there. When I see that, I will call it out. For now, I'm kind of like giving him that grace period to say, okay, you've now got the players that you want to have. Now let's see what you're going to do. The same thing as you guys can say with Arteta. Like, once he's got that striker, you lot know that there's no more excuses. But you guys are giving this guy 6 seasons of grace or whatever else. You got your second place and you celebrated it like you won the league or whatever, right? You celebrated with beating Real Madrid as it was a trophy. So the reality of it is I think that grace period has to be allowed until because think about this, he's not bought his own players. He came in the middle of the season. Yes, other managers could go to other clubs, whatever, but this is Man United, who was already, everybody knows Man United's been in bumps for a long period of time. So then we bringing him in to expect him to do what? So at least give this man a full season and then we can talk.
All right, fair enough. Gav, I saw you had your hand up.
It's not fair enough, Dave. It's not fair enough. Come on, are we being serious? Like, firstly, this guy's trying to compare the guy finishing 15th to us finishing second and falling out of the Champions League to PSG, who, to be fair, statistically, because the eye test is biased, like, we apparently were the most competitive stats-wise than any other team in Europe that season with PSG, or in however many games. Like, we're not shit. Arteta is not shit. We've lost to the best Man City team of all time X amount of times, Super Pep Guardiola, all the rest of it. Like, good enough for Arsenal right now? No. But I tell you something for nothing, yeah? If Amorim gets this Man United team to where Arteta has got Arsenal to right now, from the situation he's in now, Man United fans won't be talking like this about him. They won't be saying you need to get out of our club. They're going to be hoping that he stays before they end up with another Ollie or another Ten Hag or whoever
Agreed.
else. So why are we using that comparison that we gave him 6? You would give him 6 years to get you out of the gutter you're in now to where we are right now, where people are telling us.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but you're trying to say man's out by freaking December or whatever, when the guy's not even had his own players for a season. Like, would you be saying that stuff about
no,
Arteta?
because I wear this shirt.
But what I'm saying about Arteta, I'm saying, no, let me say it. The point I'm saying is, when Arteta, okay, so if think about how crazy I sound then, yeah. So Arteta starts, so he's got his team, in the first, he comes in halfway through the season, finishes the season, yeah, he won you guys something after a few games, okay, cool. But imagine that by Christmas time we're like, no, we've got to get this guy out, It's not even had a chance to even put his actual players on. So what I'm trying to say is, like, let the man put his players on, because you guys are talking about trust the process. He had 5-6 years to trust the process. This guy's not even had chance to be able to start the process, and we're saying, you're promoting kicking him out.
Can I respond? What you're saying, it makes sense. With Arsenal, when Wenger went, then we had Unai Emery, and then we trusted the process with Arteta. In that same time period, you do realize the amount of managers you lot had. Compared to Arteta, who's an amateur, the high quality managers you had Jose Mourinho, yeah, you had what's his name, Van Gaal, you had Oli twice, you had Ten Hag as well, and now you got Amorim. That's 5. You chased them all out. So when I'm saying, do I see Amorim getting kicked out of Manchester United? There's no point talking about Arsenal's philosophies and how Arsenal fans are and what Arsenal fans think, because we ain't got nothing to do with it. It's you lot. I think you lot will chase that man out of town, or he will decide to walk out of town, because United fans are going to do what United fans are going to do, and they're going to expect Fergie years in 2025, 2026, and it's not going to happen. We're man are talking about finishing top 4 after you finish 15th, and you've only signed Cunha, and the man is saying, "Oh yeah, I think he's going to do a madness." Like they've said, based on what? And then when it don't happen, come Christmas, all hell's going to break loose. I've seen it. I've seen this movie many times before. People want to talk about Arsenal flop at the end of the season. Cool. You lot chase managers out every season. Your players go on strike every season. Down tools, Instagram, do interviews. Piers Morgan, bare stuff every season, guaranteed. Like
the thing with those players, nobody that's on here can honestly say hand on heart have not known that there's been bad seeds at United,
and they're still there.
And so the whole point, exactly. So we're trying to get rid of those players, and a lot of those players are moving out. And all of these players, the Rashfords or whatever, they will eventually go on loans or whatever. They're not going to be there at the start of the season anyway. But the point of it being, right? You're talking about a manager getting sacked or kicked out or whatever, and promoting that when you know full well from even before Ragnick was here, Ralph was saying we need to open heart surgery. We need to get some of these 8 of these man out and bring people in, and we didn't do none of that. We've then gone through 2-3 seasons past since he said that, and we're still in the same position. And so this is why I'm saying Amorim kind of came in, saw that, and that's why I said when man comes out and says there's going to be suffering, prepare for this. I think he knew what he was saying. When I watched him in his first few games on his knees and looking at it, I'm like, he's thinking what I'm thinking. I'm like, and he probably knows deeper than what we know. So the reality of it is, I think, yes, true. You know, some of those players are still there. They're going to obviously have to move on anyway. They're not going to stay there past, you know, they're going to stay there to stay on the bench, you know, or not turn up to training. So they have to get sold. But we will, again, obviously, like you're talking now, what have we got? I mean, what have you guys got? Like Arsenal got. So again, we know that teams are going to do business in the next month or so or whatever.
Yeah.
When it comes to...
It's not the same conversation. We finished second. So everyone expects Liverpool to win the league. So we don't really need to buy anyone to do the same again, really, in theory. You lot need to do a lot to do what you expect to do. You lot forget the players. My thing is, the reason why you don't get sacked is the fans. I think the fans will be the down.
Right. If you say the fans, I agree.
Two secs. Kunle, let me bring you in on this quickly. And then, John, I'll come to you. We'll talk about Liverpool in a sec. But Kunle, based off of the fact, you know, the FDR have Arsenal and Man United with, you know, the harder fixture start. When you look at the fact that it seems to me that there's a narrative potentially being built here where, you know, it's going to be, you know, panic stations between whoever loses between Arsenal, United and whatnot. When you take into the fact that, you know, teams like Arsenal, United do have a harder fixture start, whereas the Liverpools, the Man Cities appear to have an easier start to their season. How are you feeling about that? Do you feel like there's a narrative potentially being created here?
Not for me, no. Because really, truly, the you can say it's the hardest start, but from me, just as watching Arsenal, it's not the hard start. It's not the hard teams where we struggle. It's the easy ones. So the hard start thing the narrative doesn't work for me. I mean, if you want to try and use that to, you know, comfort yourself for why you're languishing in the bottom half or near relegation after 5 games, then cool. But the whole Premier League trying to screw United and Arsenal, yeah, I don't know about that, because then what happens if we win the games? Then we're galvanized. We're now we're moving stronger through the next couple of games. So yeah, I ain't got time for this conspiracy theorists. There's enough people out there who think the world is flat. I'm not trying to join them.
It's just propaganda in case you don't do it. That's what I believe anyway.
That's what I mean. It's already preparing sort of the ready-made excuse that if we lose, this is why we lost. This is why we didn't get it. So the fixtures are the fixtures. Because when it was easy fixtures for us or United, then so we're saying the Premier League are trying to help us. I don't know. It's either make it different.
I would just like to add, I don't think there are any easy fixtures in the league anyway. Look how the league's competitive it's been of the last few seasons alone.
So you don't feel United away is an easy fixture, no?
No, I don't feel any game in the Premier League is an easy fixture, as easy as it once was. Like when United will go to, say, a Bradford City or Coventry, you knew what time it was. You knew what time. If they played Charlton away, even you knew what was going to happen. But you can't really say that today for a lot of teams, even Liverpool, even Arsenal, even City. You can't, like, who did City go to? And I thought, I'm a betting man, yeah. So I put a bet on City win. I thought, yeah, City got this. They lost the game at home. I couldn't believe it. I lost money on City. City are like, it's like a guaranteed. It's like picking Real Madrid at home. You know they're gonna win every game at home, and it's the way it's been going the last few seasons. I don't believe anyway that there are any easy games. I don't think the league is as easy as it once was, in my opinion. I think teams are a lot closer in talent than they once were, say 20 years ago or 15 years ago in the league.
Okay. Especially those easy games that Arsenal was meant to win and they never won those easy games. And they lost the league because of those easy games.
Why is it always Arsenal? What easy games did United win?
Okay, so can I ask you a question? United win two games back to back last season?
Okay.
No, you asked me just now. Can I just finish speaking? So you just asked me, why is it always Arsenal? Yeah. Did you not hear the part when Dave just said just now, what isn't United an easy fixture?
No, he was asking a question to John.
Okay, so I'm referring back to Arsenal. So he asked a question about United. Asked a question about Arsenal. So, but why then do you then say why is it always Arsenal when you just said something about asked a question about United?
The only reason that I asked that question, I was directing that specifically to John, a Liverpool fan. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Liverpool smashed you lot last season, home and away, right? I think so. So I'm asking. He's saying he's trying to be humble and say there's no easy fixtures. I'm saying to him, is United away not considered an easy fixture?
No, but like, I can answer that question and be like, there was a time when you would go to Old Trafford and you knew what time it was, bro.
When was that? That was the 30 years. That's the 30 years. We're talking now.
But I'm saying now it's a different ball game. Everyone's a lot closer in competition now. So it's
really easy. You think United are close to you in terms of competition? John, stop it. You're lying.
No. I'm saying in terms of competition, where we once were in the Fergie years, it was a cousin. But now
it's the 30 years though. We're in 2025.
Now we're here. They're here. Like.
Exactly. So my question to you:
still win. That's the thing. Like, we could still win any game against anyone, and that's fact. So to say that, that's what I mean. We have beat Liverpool, we have beat Arsenal, we have beat so it's not like you say it's like you're talking about easy. Okay, cool. What happened? Okay, yes, FA Cup, but what happened when we were 10 men down and we went to Emirates?
Like, scumbag the penalty win. You can't do that in the league. You can't scumbag a win on penalties in the league, bro.
Well, okay, cool. So
I'm not calling United an easy fixture for Arsenal. We got a horrible record there. I specifically addressed that to John for a reason because he's trying to be humble. Deep down, he knows there are easy fixtures in this league. Look at him. He knows there are easy or easier fixtures in this league. And when you look at the results between Liverpool and United, even over the last couple of seasons, I swear they stuck 7 past you recently as well, right?
Yeah.
How can he sit there with a straight face and say to me that he doesn't consider United one of the easier games based on recent history?
Because our actual record at OT ain't great. This is what I'm saying. It looks great because of the last, say, 4 or 5 seasons, but our record at OT is not good. We go there and lose. I've witnessed it myself as a fan for over 40 years now. Like, we've been getting battered there. So I'm not going to now say, oh, we're now going to Old Trafford. It's now easy. Because I've seen our team, they lose way more than win.
When's the last time you lost there? Exactly.
Oh, wait, a minute. But
I don't think we've looked. I'm trying to work out. I think
Ollie beat Klopp there. Ollie beat Klopp at Old Trafford. Like I know we lost like 3-2 or something like that.
3-4 years ago.
It was under Ollie. Yeah.
2 managers ago.
2 managers ago. Yeah, but still. But my point is, like, yes, we've been beating them recently. It doesn't now that automatically make it an easy game. Do you know what I mean? That's my point.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to the final part of the show then, right? So, I want you guys to just give me a team, a surprise team. Yeah, no, Cyril, United don't count. Where you expect them to have a potentially fast start. Cyril, I'm sorry, man.
But that's the thing. You man can say that, yeah, and then you then say, "Oh, why always Arsenal? Why always Arsenal?" That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but in this case, my point was proven because but in this case, my point was actually proven because the question was actually for John as the Liverpool fan, nothing to do with Arsenal.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
so let me finish what I was saying anyway, right? So, give me a team where you expect them to be surprise package, fast start. You know, could make noise early doors. I'll go first on this one. The team that I've actually selected is Bournemouth. Okay, I think Bournemouth last year they had a very, very good season, a lot better than what anybody was expecting. Yeah. Now I've got the fixtures in front of me for Bournemouth. Okay, and when I look at the teams that they have, right, I think first game of the season they're away at Anfield. Now that is as tough as it gets. Yeah, but early season, you never know. Surprises do happen on opening day of the season. But after that, they got Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Brighton at home, Newcastle at home, Leeds away, Fulham at home, Palace away, Forest at home. That's through to November. When I look at those fixtures, I'm not saying that I'm expecting Bournemouth to pull up trees and challenge and do a Leicester and whatnot. But I look at those fixtures and I identify them as a team who could potentially make noise in the early stages. Had some good news saying that they're keeping Semenyo, another player that's rejected Tottenham, by the way. They're keeping Semenyo, who's one of their key players. Yeah. So my pick for a team that I believe is going to make noise early in the season, I'm going with Bournemouth. John, who's your pick?
My pick is actually Arsenal. Arsenal always tend to make very fast starts in the league.
That's so disingenuous of you.
That you asked me a question. You asked me a question. So because from my football knowledge, Arsenal tend to start really, really well. I think there was even a period even under Wenger. You remember they used to get to like February and it just used to start looking shaky. But normally they start really, really well, and I expect them to go again this season, especially with kind of the disappointment of the last, let's call it 2 seasons or finish or 3 seasons to finish the second. I see them like going through it again. Hopefully, with the return of their key players from injuries, Havertz is back. There'll be a fully fit Saka who have like a full pre-season. Martinelli will be. Has he been playing this season? Yeah, he played last season. He'll be back. So all of these players that they're due to come back, the players coming in, and I expect them to make leaps and bounds in terms of turning that around. Because you know what, this game is a game of probabilities. Do you understand? So they can't keep doing this. At one point, it's going to click, and I think next season it's going to be their time.
All right,
You think
give me your pick.
I won't even say. I mean, surprisingly, it's not that they're going to go high into it. I think it actually will be with United because I don't think. No, in terms of the fact that they're not good. I know people obviously they finished 15th and whatnot, but I actually don't think they'll be as bad because you can't be that bad. And if you do, he gets fired. So it's win-win for me. So, but I just don't think they'll be as bad as last season. I think everyone's going to go into this season expecting last season's performances. And remember, they get one game a week. So
yeah, no Europe.
Literally, there's no Europe. So all they're doing the early rounds of the Carabao Cup, all them team there. You know, when you join with the lower league teams. But yeah, no, I think they will do a lot better than people anticipate, and they're not going to get. I don't think it'll be as bad, as much as I'd prefer to watch that car crash. I just don't think it'll be as bad as we all hope, apart from Cyril.
Gavin, you next. Who's your pick for surprise package?
Surprise package.
Yeah.
I can't even think. I've got a horrible feeling about Frank getting into them lot at Spurs, to be honest. As a surprise package overall. But to answer I think the question was, who do I think is going to have a fast start?
Yeah.
I actually agree with John. I think it could be us. I think I'm expecting it to be us, and I somewhat are demanding it's us because of how last season would have hurt. And what we're looking to do this summer. People paying close attention to what we're doing in the transfer window, we should have a crazy July and August. And if everything falls into place, we should have a fast start. And we need to have a start where our fixture list will allow for us to maintain throughout the season and really, really do what we need to do in the league. No guarantees, but yeah, I think we need to start from day one. Man United at Old Trafford, put a statement down, go to Anfield, get something, come out of that cluster of fixtures unscathed, i.e. no losses. And I think that's what I would class as a fast start. But then as far as the surprise package, I think Spurs will do what a lot of United fans are expecting United to do and turn a really terrible season into a good one. Because Frank's a good coach, and they're probably going to spend some dough over there for him. And he'll make it work if anyone can. But I do want to say, like, regarding what Kunle said, I actually agree with him. I don't think it's going to be as bad. I just don't think it's going to be as good for United as their fans are expecting, especially if they get a couple players through the door. I think that heaps more pressure on Amorim, and I think it can go bad because of the fan base. And
I'm still saying you're still going to see Amorim doing the Meg the Stanley and knee stands.
Exactly. He's going to be stressing, and then I feel like he'll give.
But yeah, I just don't think it will be 15th bad. But yeah, you definitely will see him doing that standard Meg the Stanley pose that he's mastered.
Cyril, we'll give you the last word. We'll give you the last word of the day, mate. Surprise package. Give us your thoughts.
I don't think it's a surprise package, but I just think it's a package that no one's talking about is City. I think City will come back, and like City, you got to remember, City have actually spent money and they've actually bought some, players. And this guy Pep, he is that genius, man. And I think City will not surprise, but I think City will do what City do, and then that's why I said it's gonna be so interesting because City have got their players, and so my thing is City are gonna be making more noise than they did last season, and they kind of came back obviously at the end of the season as well, and obviously they've added on more to next season. So I think they're gonna come do their thing. I think Arsenal should be based on what they should be getting, but I just feel like there's just that thing over Arsenal that I just think is just going to end up being the same season. So yeah, maybe they might start off, good, but I think there's so much pressure, and the way social media works and the media works or whatever, like every game, win or loss, there's going to be talk about it, and then the fan base, that AFTV and all these different things there, like all of those things there, I think at some point also get to the actual players as well. And sometimes you can see from when you watch Arsenal, how the players, you can sort of feel the pressure. The players are feeling the pressure and stuff like that. They handled things well last season for sure. I was really impressed with them with Real Madrid. But I just think like Arsenal naturally think they're going to be that's it. They just need that one or two more players and whatever. But I still think it's going to actually come through. Liverpool have gone out there. They've done their business. So That's why I'm like, this season you can't. I don't think any one team can be like, you know what, this is their season. Like, I don't think any one team can actually do that because we can't forget about City. Arsenal got to do what they need to do. Liverpool have gone and done some madness. So those, like, I know you said Bournemouth or whatever, they might do well in some games, but it's going to really boil down to those three teams there: City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And United would obviously come back somewhere, but not 15th, as you guys said.
All right, fair enough.
Fourth.
Okay, so I before I end the show, I just want to quickly say, Cyril, in a question where your pick was Man City, I think it's amazing that you still found a way to bring Arsenal back into it. Bravo, sir.
I spoke about all three teams. I spoke about all the teams.
Bravo.
Spoke about Liverpool.
I am amazed at your ability to draw it back and put pressure on Arsenal and the Arsenal fans. I got to give you props on that. So that's the show for today, lads. Thank you for joining me. To you viewers out there, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.